Welcome to the Guantanamo Brain Ecocide Report, Summer 2022, a program dedicated to documenting the assault on the natural world, which threatens all life on the planet. In June 2022, the Mauna Loa Observatory measured the monthly mean concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere to be 420.99 parts per million, compared to a monthly average of 418.94 parts per million in June 2021. Concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere in May of 2022 were 50% higher than during the pre-industrial era, reaching levels Earth has not seen in 4 million years. A level which humans have never experienced. And more than half of all CO2 emissions since 1751 have been emitted in the past 30 years. During the same period, BP, Shell, Chevron, and ExxonMobil have made nearly $2 trillion in profits from their exploitation of fossil fuels and egregious abuse of nature. And over the next 3 decades, the World Bank estimates that over 200 million people will have to migrate due to the increasingly frequent and severe extreme weather events caused by climate change and/or the slow degradation of their environments. In 2021, new records were set for the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, sea level rise, ocean heat, and ocean acidification. And for the second year in a row, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration measured a record increase in the amount of methane in the atmosphere, the second most important greenhouse gas after CO2. Although it does not last as long in the atmosphere as CO2, methane is about 25 times more potent in terms of trapping heat. In 2021, the annual increase in atmospheric methane was 17 parts per billion, the largest increase since records began in 1983. In 2020, the increase of methane was 15.3 parts per billion in the atmosphere. At that time, a new record. This summer, heat waves, intensified by climate change, have been experienced around the globe. The World Meteorological Organization also reports that since 1980, the frequency of heat waves around the world has increased by a factor of 50. Record-breaking heat waves were seen in Europe, North America, China, India, Pakistan, North Africa, and the Middle East, sparking wildfires in many regions, including Spain, Portugal, France, Australia, and Western North America. The UK experienced its hottest temperature on record this summer, 104.54 degrees Fahrenheit. India's heat wave, which began this spring, has continued into the summer and created dangerous conditions for countless people, and compromising crop yields. In northern India, where more than 1 billion people have been experiencing temperatures regularly surpassing 110 degrees Fahrenheit, often accompanied by oppressive humidity. Many Indians do not have reliable electricity, and only 8% of the country's population has air conditioning. On April 26, 2022, the Balswell landfill on the outskirts of Delhi caught fire due to record-breaking heat. The fire raged for weeks, unleashing clouds of hazardous smoke and forcing a nearby school to close. Australia, South Africa, and Bangladesh have also experienced severe flooding, likely linked to global warming. Dozens of people have died, and millions have been displaced due to severe flooding and landslides impacting large regions of southern China. The Horn of Africa is experiencing a potential famine due to severe drought which has destroyed crops, killed livestock, and displaced many people. At least 18.6 million people across Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia are experiencing acute food insecurity, a euphemism for starvation, and rising malnutrition as a result. This July, people across the United States have been under heat alerts in over 24 states with temperatures in the high 90s and even over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. California is once again experiencing a long wildfire season due to climate change, with over 100,000 acres having been ravaged so far. An analysis of 500 scientific studies regarding extreme weather events conducted by Carbon Brief reports that 71% of these events were made more likely or severe due to anthropogenic climate change, while 12 of these events would have been nearly impossible without such warming, including record-breaking heat in Siberia and off of the coast of Australia. All of this has been achieved with just over a 1 degree Celsius rise in global average temperature, while a rise of 2.5 degrees Celsius at least is expected according to a scientific analysis by research organization Climate Action Tracker based on current policies in place worldwide. Climate change will also increase the spread of infectious diseases, likely resulting in thousands of new viruses spreading among animal species, including potentially humans, by the year 2070, according to a new study. In June 2022, the United States Supreme Court voted 6-3, quote, that neither the Environmental Protection Agency nor any other agency may adopt rules that are transformational to the economy unless Congress has specifically authorized such a rule to address a specific problem like climate change, greatly limiting the power of the EPA to regulate carbon dioxide emissions. During the first half of 2022, deforestation in the Amazon rainforest hit a new record, with the Brazilian Space Agency reporting that nearly 4,000 square kilometers were deforested in that time, an area 5 times the size of New York City, which is the highest level seen since at least 2016. June 2022 alone saw monthly fire activity from farmers burning forest vegetation to clear room for livestock and crops at the highest level in 15 years. Deforestation in the Amazon is fueled by the industrialized world, particularly the United States consumption of beef. After lifting a moratorium on buying raw Brazilian beef 2 years ago, the U.S. has become Brazil's second largest consumer, purchasing over 320 million pounds of beef from the country in 2022 alone. Currently, the U.S. is on track to buy almost twice that amount in 2022. A paper published in Nature in April 2022 reports that 40.7% of amphibians, 25.4% of mammals, and 13.6% of birds are threatened with extinction. Habitat loss, agriculture, logging, urban development, invasive species, and climate change pose threats to the survival of these organisms. PFAs. Per- and polyfluorinated alkylated substances are toxic, synthetic, and persistent industrial chemicals which have been detected in the atmosphere and rainwater across the globe, and even in Antarctica. PFAs are so persistent they have been nicknamed forever chemicals and are harmful to human and animal health. This has been Guantanamo Brain, Ecocide Report, Summer 2022. The ecocide rages on, yet business continues as usual.